Greetings again. This is Dr. Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk about transpositioning teeth. In other words, you can take one tooth and move it over another tooth and put it beside it if you have to. And the trick of doing that is to not put the tooth in there so solid on an arch wire that you can't move it. And one of them will go to the labial and the other one will go to the lingual, and you can move the tooth past the other one. And we did that on this case, but there's a whole stack of other things going on in this case. And I worked on this young lady for several years before we got it finished up. And so I'm going to go through it as quick as we can and show you what we do here. Let's get this going. And now this young lady was missing teeth. She had teeth, the extra teeth that we had to do. We put a palatal separator in to spread this thing out to make room for the teeth to come down. And we had this cuspid tooth came on top of this this bicuspid. The cuspid was actually between the first and the second bicuspid teeth there. And so we did that. We also had to section off a tooth here. We don't show that very often where you're missing a second bicuspid down here. The best thing in the world to do is to go in and cut them half in two, do a pulpotomy on this. This portion you keep, and that keeps the tooth from dropping down. This drifts forward. When it gets over here where this tooth catches that one, then you take the other half out and this tooth will drift in there. So that's drifting. That's something that Dr. Ed Gonzalez in Tampa, Florida, in that area, he and I have worked on that problem. So let's go and see what we do here as quick as we can. Here we separated the palate on there to make room for it. This is a young lady when we started. She's the daughter of a gynecologist, and I was doing this for just gratis, and I thought I'd never get through with the case. And these upper front teeth came in a class 3, and she was a mouth breather and everything, and so the bottom arch is spread out more than the upper arch, and so we had to spread the upper arch out so it would fit over the lower arch, and something like that. That's mouth breathing, fungus, and also things that we're allergic to. She had something of everything you could think about here, and I'm going to have to go real quick with this. So we separated the palate, we pushed the teeth apart out here and widened the upper arch out, and we got to push these front teeth over the hump up here and had to redo them. She was a pretty girl, but she had a messed up set of teeth. And you can see the upper front teeth were back behind, and she just couldn't stand that. We had the side teeth widened out now enough, so we're going to have to jump these two anterior teeth and also this in here. And so we bonded blocks and put on the teeth. Now here we are. This cuspid there's a bicuspid and here's a bicuspid, and we put spring on it to push this. Leave this tooth alone. You're going to have to shove it lingually, and if you push this one that way, you kind of run your arch wire out to the labial so the tooth can go past the other tooth. So we push on it, and you'll see this is coming up from here. Now on the bottom we got them lined up pretty good. Here's where we took this tooth out, where we left too much tooth in there. We didn't do it right to hold that out. And here we kept going with it, and we'll take these two teeth. Now we've got this cuspid moving past this bicuspid. Leave the bicuspid alone, let it go out lingual, and take your arch wire and bring that tooth out too. And we continue to move that too. The upper ones, we wanted to jump them over, so we put a acrylic covering over them and shaped it up a little bit. We just put it like that, and she came back crying, so I had to make this look like teeth, and she allowed that to go. Now we're continue to shove this tooth over. This one is moving back here on its own, and it kind of comes back and angles in here as we slide the cuspid over that. Now this is not an orthodontic case where we get her. This is a tough son of a gun, and so we had to build that up, and now we'll have to shape these up so the young lady wouldn't look so bad. And so we took them and just shaped them like that, and we pushed them over the lower front teeth. At the same time, we're moving this cuspid over the bicuspid back in the back. And we got a deciduous tooth there. Over here, we're going to whittle this down. We should have left the back half out, taken this out, and this would have drifted forward in there without doing that. So now we've got the front teeth over the hump right here. They look pretty good. And the cuspid is here, and the back, the first bi is back there. And we keep working at that, and we're going with this tooth and bringing this one back at the same time. And I'm going to have to do this video pretty quick. So we're bringing this out, and we've got the cuspid out here now. Now we're going to have to get the root back over, and we got the bicuspid over here, and we're pulling it up into shape at that spot right there. So there's, I'm going to go through the x-rays now and show you the same thing. Instead of whittling this down, I tried to do this, and that's wrong. I should have cut this, taken that out in the front, then this whole thing would drift over, then pull the whole thing, brought it together. But I didn't have anything back here to fill the gap, so I'm holding the tooth in that place. Now, the cuspid, we're going to move it down, you see. So we'll start pushing this cuspid over. There we just cut that down. We're going to save a space instead of bringing all of this forward. If we'd had a wisdom tooth here, it would have been excellent. We could have brought it in. But there's no wisdom teeth either anywhere in the mouth. So we had to just keep that piece and crown it like a tooth. Now, we're take out teeth here. We got this cuspid there. But here's the tooth we're going to move over. So let's go. In other words, we moved the crown of it, we pushed it over. We need to put some tip in the tooth. It'll kind of like that to bring the root past it. So we get it up like that, and we put the tip in the tooth, and we finally got the tooth on this side and brought it in, got these teeth over. We put a false tooth in this gap. We twiddle those down, and we crowned, or had somebody crown that tooth there. And we ended up in this position here. And here is this cuspid that came across that tooth right there. Now, if you're not really into orthodontics, don't jump on a case like this. Now this is a false tooth we just put on here, and it's kind of torqued into the root. You can't hardly see it. And we had her fixed up, and she looked real nice for her graduation pictures from high school. We got it down to this point, and I tried to get her a regular dentist to put these to do this. He didn't know how to do it, so I did that for her too, and leveled those out. So now she's graduated from her high school pictures are like that, and you have to come back and put some crayons, probably crayons at one big bridge, closing that space up. And this is 1999, and here she is when she graduated from high school. The pictures show the braces a little bit, but look like she's got the front teeth there. So we put a retainer in there, and this is a tooth that's on the retainer, and so she can go and get a bridge now put in for that whole front end part of her mouth. And there is this cuspid, and there's a bicuspid and the other bicuspid. Now we put a wire on that tooth so it wouldn't break off, and fixed it up for her for retainer. And those people wear their retainers, they really do. So that's as far as I took pictures of her. Thank you for watching it. This is a complicated, extremely complicated case. Don't jump on something like this unless you are really grounded in doing everything else. So I'm going to close out. I hope you'll join our group and subscribe to it. So I'm going to close out and say goodbye. And I hope you'll subscribe to it.